been exhausted in the middle of the day and had brain fog so bad that it takes you two or three trips get in and out of your car and in and out of your house before you gathered everything and you can actually get off and onto your trip. In 2018, I owned 26 companies. I had 30 employees, a 16,000 square foot building, and I had sold over $100 million worth of products up until that point with my e-commerce company. I was absolutely burnt out, but I didn't know it. So stay with me. I'm going to show you some of the signs of burnout, how you can figure out if you've got it, and then some ways that you can avoid it altogether later. So first, let's recognize some common symptoms of burnout. It's chronic exhaustion, cynicism, and brain fog. Those are some common ones. Burnout manifests through a variety of different ways. There's a bunch of ways to categorize it. We're going to categorize it in three: physical, emotional, and behavioral. Here's some physical symptoms that you may notice: chronic fatigue, lack of energy, particularly in the middle of the day where you're trying to cope with extra caffeine. For those of you that are coffee drinkers out there, I used to be one of you. Or if you're drinking sodas with caffeine, this may be something that's getting you past that chronic fatigue and might be disguising your burnout. Brain fog is another one that comes up frequently. If you're making constant trips to pick something up that you forgot, like you left something in the other room. I do this all the time. I'll take a book or my journal or my notepad around with me, and I'll leave it somewhere and forget about it. And like, damn, where did I leave that? That's brain fog. Also, if you've got big changes in your sleep patterns, if you're sleeping too much, or if you're not sleeping enough and you're having insomnia, those are some other physical symptoms for burnout. Here's some examples of emotional symptoms of burnout. You may be feeling overwhelmed, helpless. You might be feeling trapped in your job, at work, with your business. For those of you that are entrepreneurs like me, you may be feeling trapped in your business. You'll have increased cynicism, or you might find yourself being detached from work, being detached from your family. You could have increased feelings of failure and self-doubt. Those are all very common emotional symptoms of burnout. There's also some behavioral symptoms that might help you point out whether you're at burnout mode or not. You could be withdrawing from responsibilities or social interactions. Like me, you may have been withdrawing from your family. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. You may be procrastinating or taking longer to get things done. You may be setting stuff off, like avoiding things. You could be using food, drugs, or alcohol to cope, to mask, to get that dopamine hit, to kind of get you through the day. For me, I knew I had hit rock bottom when at the end of the workday, I was avoiding my family and isolating myself in the master bedroom to either read or to play video games, because it was the only way I could find to recharge my batteries. Having solitude, having isolation time. I help entrepreneurs with burnout almost every day. I'm a business broker. I sell businesses like realtors sell homes. And one of the number one reasons why people sell their businesses is because they're experiencing burnout. And they've found that their business has turned into something that it doesn't really bring them passion and love and joy and excitement anymore. So many times they want to go off and do another project, but you still have a very valuable business. So instead of just letting it crumble, I work with entrepreneurs to value their business and to sell their businesses. And it works best if you can catch this before the business starts to decline. So if you're curious how much your business is worth, or if you've got a burning passion to go do something else, or if you're feeling a little burnt out with your business, not quite so inspired with it anymore, there's a link in the description for how you can contact me. I'd be happy to help you with evaluation and to help guide you through the exit process. You may wonder, where does burnout even come from? So some typical triggers is overworking. You may have a lack of balance in your work-life balance. It may be more work balance. You may also have unrealistic expectations for like where you should be, at your station, at your age, in your career, and be putting these extra pressures, that internal critic inside your mind that is just constantly getting you down and trying to push you for more. Like that may also be a trigger for burnout and preventing you from being able to have like calm and relaxed time. You know, For me, my aha moment was I started spending more time outdoors. I was doing some hiking outside of the Albuquerque areas where I lived at the time. And hiking, I would do a lot of biking. I spent a lot of time in nature. Well, as much time as I could because I was a workaholic and I spent a lot of time at the office. But some weekends and some evenings I'd get out. And in the weekends in particular, where I would take my kids with me, we'd go hiking. They always complained when it was time to go back home. And they would ask me, Dad, why do we have to go back home? Like, why can't we do this more? That was the real question. Why couldn't we do this more? And without missing a beat, I'd respond, well, Daddy's got to work to pay for all of this. This doesn't come free. And that's when I had an aha moment. I had forgotten why I was an entrepreneur in the first place. In Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I wanted to make passive income so I could do the things with my kids that I love doing, so that I could hike and spend time with them and enjoy travel and go see new sights, go see, taste new things. I'm a foodie. I love going out to eat and trying new restaurants and doing stuff like that. I had forgotten all of that over a 15-year career of hustling and side hustles and real estate career and e-commerce entrepreneur career. And it was just something that kept just growing. It was like a snowball going downhill, more and more and more burnout until finally I realized, why am I even doing this? I'm not doing this to work 9 to 5. I'm doing this because I want to spend time with my family. I want to spend time adventuring, exploring. That was my aha moment. So now let's talk about how to recover from burnout. There's some very simple stress reducing techniques, such as mindfulness, meditation. Put an eye mask on, set your timer for 10 minutes and do nothing. Listen to whatever's around you. Do it outdoors if you can. Cross your legs, sit in the grass, and just observe, just listen, just let your mind wander. Don't tell it to do anything. Meditation, mindfulness doesn't have to be perfect. Just spend 10 minutes sitting still. And then on the opposite of that, do rigorous exercise. I run a 5K 3 times a week. So I'm spending 30 minutes. Usually I take it about 30 minutes to run 5 miles. I do that 3 times a week. So I'm spending 90 minutes a week just running. And if you haven't taken up running, you're probably like, God, I hate running. I did too. But over time, I eventually got to the point where my mind just goes blank. It is just serenity. All I'm doing is one foot in front of the other, and it's complete and utter bliss. Another thing you can do to recover from burnout is take active breaks. Get up out of your chair, leave your office, go walk around your block, go walk around your house, take your dog out for a walk, go walk to the mailbox and back, give yourself a break. And no, checking your email doesn't work. That's not going to help you. Don't check in on other assigned tasks and that sort of stuff. Just set everything down and just be in your own energy, be in your own space. Also, it's just really important to set your boundaries here and say no. Say no. Where you find yourself saying yes, take an opportunity and challenge yourself to start saying no. If you're an entrepreneur, or even if you're not, if you're an employee and you have some staff that work for you, but particularly if you're an entrepreneur, start to delegate. Just like Batman had Robin. Start to delegate things. Okay, so now let's talk about how to avoid burnout in the first place. A lot of it's the same thing that you would do to recover. Spend time creating a balanced schedule. Try to really focus on your sleep. This is something I didn't do until only the last 6 months or so. I've got an Aura ring and I track my sleep every day. And I'm constantly trying to improve my sleep score. It's a game that my partner and I are constantly doing. What was your sleep score last night? Oh, I got an 87. Yeah. Oh, I got a 40. Okay, you need to rest today. Relax. So find ways to balance your schedule. Emphasize and focus on your sleep first. Handling your sleep, so many other things are going to fall into place. Then schedule appropriate amount of time for your work. Be really specific, be really goal oriented, work on a checklist. Start a checklist every week from Monday through Friday. What are the 3 things you must get done that week, and revisit those every day. Also, really important that you spend time with yourself. Personal time by yourself, absolutely, with your family, with your friends, with your church congregation, with your Kanchi woo woo group, with whomever it is you're doing yoga. You could be doing beach fires and meditation, wherever your tribe is. As long as you're spending some focused time with yourself, spend some time amongst the people. Netflix marathons or video gaming marathons or hiking outdoor, those all count as self-care if done in moderation. One of the best ways I have found to maintain motivation and energy is through gratitude and through service to others. I do this in YouTube, and my business is a business broker. I provide as service to others. I genuinely love doing it. I have built and sold businesses, and I have built and crashed businesses and had to bankrupt them. And I have learned so much from those failures, oftentimes more from those failures than from some of my lucky hit successes. So if you're trying to think of some different ways to handle your burnout and to increase your motivation and your productivity, revisit those simple goals that you set out in the beginning of the week that I told you about. Find specific and measurable goals that you can complete. You'll build confidence every time you complete one of those. Celebrate those small wins. Continue to reward yourself with something other than caffeine. Maybe take a cat nap. I love taking naps now, any chance I get. And they don't come as often as I would like, but a middle of the day nap is so cathartic. It feels so incredible. It's one of the most rejuvenating things that I can find for myself. Remember, guys, burnout is just a detour. It's not a dead end.